Moin and guten Tag. I'm excited to share you one of my best recipes. This recipe will elevate your barbecue game to another level. This bread is going to become the center of attention of your barbecue party. And let me show you exactly what that looks like. Everybody around me loves this recipe. What makes this bread so special is its excellent taste paired with a superb fluffiness. The taste is coming from a pre-ferment, which is called a poolish. It's pretty much just a mixture of flour, water and a little bit of yeast. This yeast is going to ferment the dough, creating superb flavor. One day later, you take this pre-ferment and mix it into your main dough. And this way you transfer all that flavor to your main dough. To me, a poolish is one of the most underrated methods to making amazing bread. You don't have the hassle of maintaining a sourdough, and this is something that can be made pretty much ad hoc just the day before. The fluffiness comes from a very elastic dough. That's a dough that has a lot of water. That high amount of water is going to make handling the dough a little bit more tricky. But don't worry, I got you covered. I will show you step by step how to get there. So yeah, let's say you want to barbecue on Friday, you have to get started with this recipe already on Thursday evening. Enough talking, let's set up our poolish. So I let that poolish rest overnight and allowed the yeast to do its job. In the morning time, I'm already setting up the main dough. And for this, I'm just going to be mixing flour and water. This process is called autolyse. There's two reasons why you want to autolyse. First up, this really helps with developing a strong gluten network. The gluten is essential because it makes the dough hold together. At the same time, it's like tiny balloons, and those tiny balloons will be inflated by the yeast. This is what creates the fluffiness. And the second reason for the autolyse is it starts to break down the flour. This makes it easier for the yeast to digest the flour, which means for us, it's even going to be more fluffy, and this is exactly what we want. So yeah, I woke up and I'm doing this at around 8 a.m. my time, very late for actual German. So I now have two jars. I have my poolish jar and I have the flour water mixture. The barbecue is going to be at around 5 p.m. So the moment where I mixed the dough together with the poolish has been at around 3 p.m. That's also the moment where you will add the salt. So until then, everything stays separate. We are back, and this is our dough. It's softened out already a little bit, and let's check the window pane effect. This is what you should get. If you don't get it, chances are you might have done something a little bit wrong. Maybe too much water for your dough. But in general, this is meant to be a sticky dough, so it's always going to be a little bit sticky. I'm just removing the dough from the edges of the container until I can place it here on my kitchen surface. Give your dough a good slap. That's always very important to show the dough who's the boss. Now you saw I didn't use any flour, and that's done on purpose because I'm using this stickiness so that I can pull out the dough and fold it over. This technique is called bench kneading, and it adds so much strength. It's developing the gluten network. This is probably worth as much as a 5-minute kneading inside of a kitchen machine. That's why I love kneading like this. It's very time efficient and you develop excellent dough strength. Now that's important because we want our dough to hold together a little bit and provide a good gluten network that can be inflated by the yeast. We don't want the dough to tear. That's also why we developed this dough strength. And resist the urge to use flour. It's just going to make things worse. Going to make things worst. Sorry, German joke. Well. I hope you're not getting tired of watching me work this dough. And this is looking good. And now what I'm doing is I'm just rounding it up a little bit over the surface. And let me show you one more time slowly how that works. At a 45-degree angle, I'm pushing inside and then pulling with my two hands. And you have to be quick because else the dough starts to stick to your hands. See, if I'm doing this slowly, it sticks. But fast, not so much. Takes a little time to master this. And look at this smooth looking dough. That's the kind of dough that we want. I'll now take this with my two hands and put it back to the container, wait a little bit, and then I'll just do another set of bench kneading in 15 minutes. Bye, Mr. Dough. 15 minutes passed. This is our dough. I'll remove it from the container one more time. Look at this nice gluten network. Very good. It's a very elastic dough as well. It's a very sticky dough. But this is exactly what we want. It's gonna make an incredibly fluffy bread on the barbecue. So take it out one more time. Place it on the kitchen counter. And now just to give it a little bit of extra strength, I will lay it out flat. Also called lamination. Just a little bit. This will add even more strength to our dough. So now what I'll do is I'll just take this side, fold it into the middle, and I'm using the stickiness from this side to fold it over. And you can see just how well our dough already holds its shape. Now, this is a critical moment because we have to wait now until our dough doubled in size. And to monitor that, I always like to extract a small fermentation probe, which I will be doing right now, maybe a little bit more, just enough so that I can cover the bottom of this jar. I'll fix that, but the moment I see that this basically doubled in size, the dough is ready for the next stage. This could be an hour, this could be 2 hours. I'm hoping for an hour. But this definitely depends on your environment. How warm is it? What kind of yeast did you use? And much more. This is really a safe trick to know when you are ready to proceed with the next stage. So I placed my dough. I will just make sure that the rubber band here matches. I can't show to you, unfortunately, like this from this angle. But yeah, once this is doubled in size, this is ready. I'm not gonna throw this away. I will mix that with my other discard sourdough starter. Anyways, so this is the dough. I will give this one more fold over. I'm wetting my hands a little bit. That helps with sticky dough. And resist the urge to use flour. Smooth dough. I'm just going to take it and round it up one more time. And then I will leave this dough alone until it doubles in size. And just look at how nice and smooth this dough now is. This is how your dough should look like as well in this stage. If it does not, then chances are you did something wrong. Look at this nice silky dough. This is what you want. And now we will wait until this probe here doubled in size to proceed. Just look at this nice jiggly dough. That's the kind of consistency that you expect at this stage. I will be using my bench scraper now to make equal portions. And what I like to do is I just like to go here, just do a couple of markings so that I know where I'm likely going to cut. They will not be exactly the same size, but let me just give you a rough overview here with my scale. Oh, sorry. So each one is gonna be around 100 to 110 grams. All right, so now this is the dough and I will show you now how we pre-shape this. With your bench scraper, push and pull. Push and pull. Push and pull. Push and pull. Push and pull until you have a nice soft ball. Good looking dough ball. I will now be taking this and place this here on the side. One more time and look at this dough, how it looks now, and we will be pre-shaping this again. Push and pull. Push, pull. Push, pull. This is around a 45-degree angle. This is exactly what you want. And those are the dough balls. What I will do now, I don't want them to dry out. That's why I will be covering them with a little bit of olive oil. Gently massage some oil in here on each of them. We don't want them to dry out, and I love the extra taste. So the barbecue has been preheated. I like to use maximum heat, just like if you were to use a charcoal barbecue. Okay, so I'm just also going to be rubbing this surface a little bit in oil. And then I'm using the bench scraper, could also be a sharp knife, just to remove the dough like this. Now, similar to a Neapolitan pizza, I will just press this out like this, but I'm not going to be leaving an edge here. So just stretch out the dough like this. This is already sufficient. I tried loading the dough with a pizza peel, but that didn't work at all. Let me show you. So yeah, I just took that dough, reshaped it one more time, let it sit for 15 minutes, and then it was ready to be loaded on the barbecue again. I then used my default method, which was just using the knuckles of your hands. That's where you want to load the dough. Go to the barbecue with the dough on your hands and then place it on the barbecue. Now, the moment you place your dough on the barbecue, it's gonna start to stick to the barbecue. And you can use that to change the shape of the dough a little bit. I made some of the breads which were a little bit too long. You can just place the dough on the barbecue and then pull the dough a little bit towards you, and that way you have a nice uniform round shape. It definitely took me a few attempts to master this, but don't worry, just try this a few times and you'll get the hang of it.
Was one of the greatest innovators. They know to and right. It's a whole yard full of man.
Just look at the consistency, so fluffy. And the taste, this is just perfect for a nice sauce. And the poolish just added such an amazing taste. So soft and good. This unfortunately brings us to the end of this video. I hope you learned something new and I hope you're hungry. Definitely try this recipe out, you are going to love it. I would be curious to know what kind of bread you have been making on the barbecue yourself. Please drop a comment in the comment section. And as always, happy baking and may the gluten be with you.